What's up, world? What's up, YouTube? What's up to the Manosphere and the Negro Manosphere? Shout out to everybody. Today in this video, I'm going to give you 7 considerations as to why going MGTOW monk will be beneficial for you. It could be 6 months, it could be a year, it could be 2 weeks, it could be the rest of your life. You know, that's one thing about life. That's one thing about all of these things that we try to define. You know, to define is to limit, you know, as Eckhart Tolle says in his book, A New Earth. To define is to limit. You know, we have all these names flying around, and people say that you can't do certain things in MGTOW or be certain ways. Everybody has their own definition, and I feel like monk, MGTOW, man, there's so much stuff. There's even some argument about the word alpha in the YouTube community. So, man, I don't know, but I'm just here, and the truth will be the truth no matter what you call it. You know, no matter what you call it. So, it's not about shaming men to me, unless you're condoning the BS that's going on out here. You know, if you're just blindly out here. But I understand that there are different levels and layers to how people operate, you know. So some are going their own way, some are still dealing with women. But me, I feel like you lose all your power when you acquiesce to that relationship. But I'll address that later. We want to establish that we're not hating women. We're not even angry at women. That would be giving the women of our past too much power. What we want to do is establish ourselves, figure out where we're headed, what we need to get there, who we need to surround ourselves with in order to become better people and progress in life. That's it, you know? Yeah, we want to have fun, but when we say we want to have fun, that's before the relationship. Before you say you don't want to have fun no more, you want to get into the relationship, and that's where you have your fun. And that's where the intentions come in, because you know what you're doing the whole time, but you can push another person to act a certain way, and then it would just justify everything. So it's about taking accountability of who you are, and the limitations that you have of the people around you. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, the limitations that you have to people around you, because people are going to push your buttons and push your limits. And you need to assess whether the situation is bearable or beneficial or a waste of your time. So with that being said, let's jump off into these 7 reasons of why developing a monk mindset will be beneficial to you. So let's go. Number one is essential, you know, to your success, and it's knowing yourself. Know thyself, you know, as it's said. Who are you? What are your triggers? Have you dealt with, you know, your childhood pain? Because you do understand that there's a cycle, right? There's a cycle of certain kids being brought up a certain way, and before they ever get a chance to heal, they're just thrust into the real world, 16, 17, 18, sent off to college to learn more hard lessons on their own. And then whether you graduate or not, you're going to have to get a job and pay some bills and deal with some messed up people. And it seems like there's a pattern where people don't really realize who they are until, 32, 33, which Google says that was the same age that Jesus was, when he started giving out, the ministry and stuff like that. So the sooner that you guys can figure out your triggers, figure out what you want in life, figure out what's best for you, your limitations, check out a roadmap, check out a roadmap of your life, see what's going on in this climate, this every society today. Social media has brought all of us together, and you're able to see, with a bird's eye view of everything that's going on. So know yourself. Do not be moved, by things that aren't vital to you. Don't give people that power. Number two is minimalism over materialism. So yeah, you may have a good job, you may have a lot of money in the bank, you may have a good family life, all of that. But what do you really need? Do you have what you need? And can you see further down the road these things, or your job, losing your job, or do you have an emergency fund? What's your emergency process? Who do you have in your corner when all you really need is what you have, if that makes sense? Like in a minimalism or minimalistic mindset, you don't have the things that you don't need. So you've already assessed yourself, you've already taken the time to know yourself. So now you know what you need and what you don't need. You don't need 14 pairs of shoes and 25 fitteds and 3 phones and stuff like that. You don't just wasting money. And money is your time, and you can't get time back. And money will come back, but who knows what the circumstances will be when it comes back around. So that's 2. Number 3, saving your soul and your spirit from a borderline society. Saving your soul and spirit, guarding your subconscious from all of the subtle little things that they slip in there without you even realizing it. Again, this comes from everything based off knowing yourself. Knowing yourself. So once you know yourself, you will know what's beneficial for you and not. You will know your enemy. In most cases, your worst enemy is yourself. But in the art of war, because this is war, right? You know, love is war, right? You have to know yourself and your enemy. And your enemy. So, protecting your soul and your spirit from attacks, subtle attacks. And you have to, like I said, understanding the society that we live in, you know, just walking down the street, walking past people will show you the type of microaggressions and borderline narcissism and creep mentality of this society. And you ever been walking, and I mean, there's plenty of scenarios, you know, I'm walking and somebody's coming this way. I see them about 50 feet away, and as soon as they see me, they put their head down, or they start fidgeting with their phone, or sniffling, or yawning, fidgeting, like. But as soon as I pass them, or as soon as I get like right here with them, they look up to see if I'm looking. Or if they're standing still on the side, I can feel them looking at me as I'm passing. But the whole time I'm looking them in their eyes, and they don't want to look up. You know, and I'm not even trying to intimidate nobody. I'm trying to say what's up. You know? So that's the type of society we're living in, because people want to see you. People want to watch you without being seen. People want to take your energy without giving energy back, you know? And people want to troll you. They want to get you in trouble. They want to get you killed, you know? For what? That's the point, like, for what? So let me just read a section of this book that deals with the borderline society. I Hate You, Don't Leave Me. And we're reading from chapter 4. Right? Where there is no vision, the people perish. Proverbs 29:18. States are as the men are. They grow out of human characters. States are as the men are. They grow out of human characters. What state are we in right now? So I'm going to read The Disintegrating Culture. And I'm going to start with this right here. His theory that the primary origins of neuroses, look that up, were the repression of unacceptable thoughts and feelings, aggressive and especially sexual, was entirely logical in this strict social context. Now, over a century later, aggressive and sexual instincts are expressed more openly, and the social milieu is much more confused. What it means to be a man or a woman is much more ambiguous in modern Western civilization than in turn of the century Europe. Social, economic, and political structures are less fixed, the family unit and cultural roles are less defined, and the very concept of traditional is unclear. Though social factors may not be direct causes of BPD or other forms of mental illness, they are, at the least, important indirect influences. Social factors interact with BPD, which is what is BPD? Tripping, bro. My bad, bro. Borderline personality. My bad. Okay, so back. First, if borderline pathology originates early in life and much of the evidence points in this direction, an increase in the pathology is likely tied to the changing social patterns of family structure and parent-child interaction. In this regard, it is worthwhile to examine social changes in the area of child raising patterns, stability of home life, and child abuse and neglect. Bear with me, I got another half a page and a half. Secondly, social changes of a more general nature have an exacerbative effect on people already suffering from the borderline syndrome. The lack of structure in American society, for example, is especially difficult for borderlines to handle since they typically have immense problems creating structure for themselves. Women's shifting role patterns, career versus homemaker, for example, tend to aggravate identity problems. Indeed, some researchers attribute the prominence of BPD among women to this social role conflict, now so widespread in our society. The increased severity of BPD in these cases may, in turn, be transmitted to future generations through parent-child interactions, multiplying the effects over time. Third, the growing recognition of personality disorders in general and borderline personality more specifically may be seen as a natural and inevitable response to or an expression of our contemporary culture. As Christopher Lasch noted in The Culture of Narcissism, every society reproduces its culture, its norms, its underlying assumptions, its modes of organizing experience, in the individual in the form of personality. As Durkheim said, personality is the individual socialized. For many, American culture has lost contact with the past and remains unconnected to the future. The flooding of technical advancement and information that swept over the late 20th and early 21st centuries, much of it involving computers, PDAs, cell phones, and so on, often requires greater individual commitment to solitary study and practice, thus sacrificing opportunities for real social interaction. Indeed, the preoccupation, some will say obsession, with computers and other digital gadgetry, especially among the young in what is commonly called social media, Facebook, MySpace, Twitter, YouTube, may be resulting, ironically, in more self-absorption and less physical interaction. Texting, blogging, posting, and tweeting all avoid eye contact. Increasing divorce rates, expanding use of daycare, and greater geographical mobility have all contributed to a society that lacks constancy and reliability. Personal, intimate, lasting relationships become difficult or even impossible to achieve, and deep-seated loneliness, self-absorption, emptiness, anxiety, depression, and loss of self-esteem ensue. The borderline syndrome represents a pathological response to these stresses. Without outside sources of stability and validation of worthiness, borderline symptoms of black and white thinking, self-destructiveness, extreme mood changes, impulsivity, poor relationships, impaired sense of identity, and anger become understandable reactions to our culture's tensions. Borderline traits, which may be present to some extent in most people, are being elicited, perhaps even bred, on a wide scale by the prevailing conditions. New York Times writer Louis Sass put it this way: each culture probably needs its own scapegoats as expressions of society's ills. Just as the hysterics of Freud's day exemplified the sexual repression of that era, the borderline, whose identity is split into many pieces, represents the fracturing of stable units in our society. Each culture probably needs its own scapegoats. So the big thing was, computers, PDAs, cell phones requires greater individual commitment to solitary study and practice. Social media, maybe resulting ironically in more self-absorption and less physical interaction. Texting, blogging, posting, and tweeting all avoid eye contact. That's what I mean by, you can't even get someone to greet you on the street, regardless of color or whatever, because we're caught up in this feel good type thing. Because if you approaching me and you feel like I'm not gonna give you the energy that you seek or the attention that you seek, you're gonna get it on your phone, even though you giving your phone attention to get that back. I don't understand how that doesn't resonate with some people. So escape, man. Save your soul. Escape from this borderline society. Just getting away from this toxic society. I mean, even just going out in nature, you'll understand that, because if you go to any city's mountain top, you can see all the industrial smog covering the city, even though it may look like clouds or whatever. So you gotta break from the toxicity. Go get what's natural to you. Go get nature. Okay. So what was that? 3, right? So 4. Another reason. I hate you, don't leave me, right? What does that mean? What does that tell you? Is that separation anxiety? So if you separate, if you need to do something for you, something that's beneficial for you, do you understand why you need to break that bond? Are you free to go do anything that pertains to you that will help anyone around you? But they don't see that. If you're happy, others will be happy. If you're stressed, others will be stressed and unhappy. And that can go a million different ways. Mainly, nothing good for you. So I hate you, don't leave me. And it was brought to my attention that people only hurt those close to them. Why? But they love a God that they've never seen before. You can't even tell me what he sounds like. He sounds like you. He sounds like your brother. Yeah. You have more than one voice in your head. You sound like your father, your mother. Whatever's there telling you to do right. That's what you need to get connected back to. Because if people are mad at you and hating you, but still want you there, what does that mean that they have you there for? Their benefit. When you need beneficial reasons to be there as well. So go off on your own, man. A week or two. Drop social media, all of that. See what happens. Because life is just a series of experiments, and that would be just another experiment, and you're the constant. But do you even know yourself? You can't even say that you're the constant because you act different in different situations, and then you have the why, which is the variable, and that changes with different situations and different people too. So conduct your experiment, man. Conduct your experiment. Get your experiences and, figure out the path that's best for you. So that was 4. Let's go to 5. 5 is breaking the trauma bond. Now, do you understand what a trauma bond is? Trauma bonds are your makeups to breakups, your push-pull, your instance of somebody needing your help and then them pushing you away, and then them coming to bring you a gift, and then later on down the road they might steal it or break it or take it away or whatever. Those are trauma bonds because they come with the promise of, better behavior or more perks or whatever, and nothing changes. They just continue to get worse. Yeah, after you make up, things might be good for a day, a week, a month, but it's only so long that people can pretend. It's only so long. So you got to break the trauma bond. We've been in a trauma bond with our parents, and we're in a trauma bond with America. But how are you going to react? How are you going to respond? I was 5, 6. 6 is observing the landscape, I'm 33. And MGTOW is just a way of life. Like I said, if you saw my first video, I said, after my relationship ended in 2009, I basically said that I had to man up and, you know, get some education, get to the point where I was desirable to myself. Because when you're low, it seemed like everybody's there. Everybody's there trying to help you. And then you reach a little success and things start to change. You may have more people around you, but it doesn't feel genuine. You know, feel like they just riding your coattails and they not, you know, they getting ready to hurt you. That's what it feels like all the time. You know what I'm saying? So, but that was a time where I was still messing with women, and I had to really be on my doing my due diligence, you know, making sure that I wasn't slipping. You know, no was my favorite answer, especially when it came to relationships. But when you become successful, you know, get a job and start doing more things with your life, you want to share that with somebody. And even though you're cautious, even though you're just chilling and you don't want to do things more serious, people won't. You got to understand that people will not rest. They might not even want you. But they will not rest until they accomplish whatever it is that they come. It could be, you think that they're coming because you have a nice body or you look good or whatever. Nah. Nope. They saw something else. They heard something else. They see something else. Especially if they want to stay. So, you know, with that, I was young, and I'm really like just amazed that the TFL and incels, but those are the guys that need to be really taking the game up from the older guys, because you got to understand that those young guys were like that. Well, they were out here chasing women as well, but what happened between 23 and 40? What happened between 23 and 35? What happened between, you know, getting out of college, getting a job, wanting to share that success with somebody, and they just come and try to strong arm you for it. You guys really have to observe everything, you know, take it. You don't have to rush and make decisions, hasty decisions that you're gonna regret later. It's not a game. You know, we leaving the game behind. We leaving the manipulation behind. We're gonna improve to come back and be stronger and better, wiser, and more gracious. Which is my next point, or it could be, you know, tied into the last two or the second to last two, which is graciousness is next to godliness. And I say that because a lot of folks with age and the grays, you know, you have to observe, because a lot of folks with grays or bald heads, you know, they're older in age and they're very gracious with their messages and with their care, you know, as opposed to younger guys, you know, early 20s, late 20s, early 30s, you know, it all depends, you know, it's all different types of layers and levels. But like my grandfather, I was raised by my grandfather. He was very instrumental. You know, he had a way of saying things, but I felt like he had a lot of grace, and you find that in older folks. But you can develop that too by going monk and, you know, becoming cool, calm, and collected. And that's step, and you know, that's the last point, which is number 7. Become cool, calm, and collected. In this borderline society, you will be attacked if you put yourself out there. That's why, you know, a lot of people won't put themselves out there, because maybe they haven't, you know, done the amount of work to become cool, calm, and collected. Because, you know, if somebody say their name or somebody say something about them, you gotta strike back. But going monk, you don't have to. You don't have to be worried about validation from men or women. You just do you. You don't have to be pulled and dragged into any type of games or fights. You just do you and what's best for those around you. So, cool, calm, and collected. Be unmoved. Be impenetrable. Impenetrable. I said that right the first time. You see that? Look up the videos, man, of the monks with powers. These dudes is raw and rare. You know, they've studied for years. It ain't gonna be no 2 months, 6 months, 1 year. No. They've studied and trained for years to be non-emotional and impenetrable. So those are just the 7 that I feel like will get you started. Knowing yourself, becoming a minimalist, dropping all the distractions and all the extras that you do not need. Okay, that was 2. 3, you know, saving your soul and spirit by separating from a borderline society. Surround yourself with people with good energy and those you can make eye contact with, and, you know, just good people. Good people. 5 is, you know, distancing yourself from people who hate you but want to benefit from your benefits, whatever you have to offer. You know, apparently it's something good if they want it so bad, you know? But people only hurt those close to them, and they wish for those farther away, or they're happy that they're gone. But I guarantee you, in this borderline society, somebody's watching you. Somebody's got a fake page stalking you, even though they don't like you. What is that? What is that? So that was 4, right? 5. No, that was, 4. No, that was 3. 4 is, that was 4. 5 is breaking the trauma bond. 5, break the trauma bond. Don't give anyone the benefit of doubt. If they keep making promises, even me, you know, I made promises and I'm working and keep getting setback and setback. Don't make promises. Don't make promises that you can't keep. Because in business, you know, we talking about promises, promissory note. If you say you're gonna get somebody some money, pay him some money for some work, and you break that promise, business is done. Business is affected for life, you know? So break the trauma bond, man. Establish your own bonds within yourself and eliminate the expectations from other people. I mean, you can have people around, and you can have certain designations for them for what they can do for you or what they don't do for you, but you have to clearly define that, because we're dealing with specifics here, and we're dealing with manipulators who need to have boundaries. So I was 5, 6, 6.5, and 7, observing the teachers, observing the knowledge seekers. Observe how long it takes for people to find themselves, and know that you need to get started on it right now. Right now. 6.5 is graciousness is next to godliness. Usually in old age, that brings wisdom. So with wisdom usually comes grace. Can you achieve that level at an early age? Can you deal with your insecurities? Can you deal with your wounds, past and present, and become wise enough, unmovable enough to be wise and gracious? And 7 is being cool, calm, and collected. People can talk about you, they can ridicule you, they can tease you, and absolutely that will get any man upset. But what about a monk? An impenetrable monk. In the face of adversity, I'd love to go and stay away, but maybe not. Maybe I want to go away for a little bit and come back and be trained in society, be a trained monk in society. And maybe I'll be able to inspire others to be the same. So with that, man, that's my video. That's my spill on that. I have about 21, but I'm only gonna give y'all 7 because 7 is a perfect number. 7 is a perfect number. So, thank you for watching. Don't do anything. Don't like, subscribe, anything. Just listen, take the knowledge, and know that we're gonna keep kicking it out, man. This is just the beginning. There's so much to talk about and understand about, our people, and we're trying to make things right. And I don't understand, that. Well, I do understand that evil is a necessary thing that brings us together, right? Or it's definitely gonna motivate us to try to do the most that we can about it. And maybe that's the whole point of this whole thing. So, peace out to the Negro Manosphere. I hope you guys, are doing well, gearing up for a good weekend, and I wish you all the best. I wish you all the best. Protect yourself. Safe up. Bless up. Peace.